Hello everyone, welcome to episode 4 of New South Wales Bred, our show about the New South Wales Breeders Challenge Series, and what a week we have just had. We've had so much racing. I'm going to get straight into it. I've got an all-star guest panel again for you this week. Michael Dumacy, Amanda Rando, welcome again.
Afternoon.
And David Thorn, trainer of one of our winners this week, Miss X. David, what a performance Miss X put in on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, she went really good. She's got better each start, so hopefully it's on the up and up.
Hey, Michael Dumacy, we talked about Miss X in last week's show. We steered the punters down the right track. I hope some of them followed us in.
Yeah, the $3.50 that was available early, Paul, very juicy. She went enormous, Miss X. I know the favourite, Come Say Hi, did gallop off the arm, but Miss X, off her heat at Penrith, it was definitely always going to be hard to beat heading back to the big roomy surfaces of Menangle, and everything played perfectly, a 10 out of 10 Jimmy Douglas drive, and she done the rest herself and was just too good for them on the day.
Amanda, that run at Penrith was too good to ignore, wasn't it, going into a Menangle meeting?
Certainly, particularly where she came from in that heat at Penrith, set 3 back on the pegs. But yeah, Thorny, hats off to you. She ran a great race, personal best time, 1:53 and 8, and ran the fastest sectionals by far in that race. So bit of an upset story for Come Say Hi. I thought she was enormous in her run after missing away. I think there's plenty to see more about that filly, but yeah, the winner was just too strong.
David, were you super confident going into that? Because the Penrith run was enormous. I mean, we identified it in the show, but I'm sure you were confident going into it.
Yeah, probably wasn't as confident as Jimmy. She went terrific at Penrith. I think if she had had any luck at all, she probably would have nearly won. But I sort of thought the favourite, if it rolled to the front, went 53 the week before. I said to Jimmy, you're going to be probably last. It's going to be really hard to beat it. But Jimmy sort of agreed, but he just had that bit of confidence that he thought he could be a chance of beating it with a little bit of luck. Obviously, we got all the luck with it galloping, but she did win pretty easy. So it might have been still an interesting race, even if the favourite hadn't have galloped.
You must have thought it was December 25 when Come Say Hi galloped.
For sure. I was, it was very good for us, but I sort of wasn't expecting it at all, but that's racing, as they say.
How far can she go, mate?
Yeah, I think she's an improving type. I only got her, Frank O'Sullivan trialled her here at Menangle and left her for the gold. And she actually galloped the first start, but she got OD'd then. So she keeps drawing bad. She's had to do it tough in the gold, but she's showing a lot more speed now with being driven quiet. So she's very strong and she's showing good speed. So I think down the track, over the longer trips and that, I think she'll be really good.
Who are you going to have to beat if you're going to win the Breeders' Challenge?
There's a few. It's actually coming to be a pretty strong race, I think. Probably the two at this stage, I would say, is Madrid and Captain's Queen. They've both come back in their heats looking really good. So, and obviously the one from last night of Mark Hewitt, it looked very impressive too. I mean, probably hasn't raced the best ones yet, but it did it very easy last night.
Well, look, there were several heats at Menangle on Tuesday. In the other heat, punters narrowed it down to 3 horses. We had Stano, Let's Party Baby, and Martini Stride. Michael Dumacy, you were big on Let's Party Baby, but didn't quite pan out that way, did it?
Yeah, not quite, Paul. She did lead Let's Party Baby, and to be honest, I thought she had a chance in front. Martini Stride had that beautiful run on her back, and Darren Binskin summed up the situation perfectly when he did pull off the cart of Let's Party Baby at the 450-metre mark. He went straight on by, and it was quite convincing in the end of Martini Stride. So take nothing away from either of those horses. And Steno, well, she just had to do too much work from the back of the field. But I think all 3 horses probably run to their best. And Martini Stride just had the better run and was too good. But there'll all be chances coming to the semi-finals. It'll be the sort of semi-final where it does come down to draws. And as Thorny said, if a horse like Come Say Hi could lead and go a 53 in front, it'd be hard to track down, or whether Miss X gets that good draw. And then you've got Captain's Queen and not to be denied, and also the other good filly there in Madrid. So it's going to be a really interesting semi-final coming up.
Amanda, Martini Stride was really strong when she wanted to go.
Yeah, she certainly was. DJ's got the horse going really well. It was her first start for DJ, and his team's absolutely flying at the moment. She ran a personal best as well, 154 and 4, and yeah, he just drove a 10 out of a 10 race. Lovely filly bred by Emilio and Mary Rosardi by Some Beach Somewhere. So it's nice to see one of their own that they've bred go through into the Breeders' Challenge semi-final.
Amanda, you were also across what Small Tease was doing on Saturday, trialling there at Menangle. That was a super impressive trial to earn another crack at the Breeders' Challenge Series. And Small Tease came out and basically did what we know Small Tease can do on Tuesday.
Yeah, enormous training effort by Brian Portelli, really, considering the horse raced in the heat of the Breeders' Challenge last Thursday week. He went around in a trial at Penrith the following Monday. He galloped in that trial, stepped out at the trials last Saturday night at Menangle, went 150.2, which is faster than the Australasian record for a 2-year-old. So he broke that in that trial, and then to come out and win his heat at Menangle on Tuesday was just huge. And it was a bit of a nerve-wracking moment around that home turn when he went a bit rough, but he was just too good for them.
David, I'd imagine the trainer in you really does tip your hat to Brian Portelli for what he's managed to do with Small Tease over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard, especially 2-year-olds. You can sort of have them one day and lose them the next. So it would have been a tough week for Brian, because obviously he would have loved to have trialled at Menangle the week before, but they weren't on. So he had to do what he had to do. But, the poor bugger's had a bit of a hard week. But he doesn't seem to worry him. He's a very strong horse, and he loves the big Menangle circuit.
Just on that race, Michael Dumacy, I know you've been pretty bullish on My Ultimate Skeeter, and we've talked a bit about Mahomes in this show as well. They were both pretty good runs behind the winner in that.
Yeah, they went quite well, but you can take nothing away from Small Tease. Like, for him to do what he's done, as the guy said, leading into that race on Tuesday, to trial in 150 and 2, and then he did scramble around that corner, as Amanda said. It was a little bit hard in mouth, but Brian knows his horse very well, and obviously he feels that he can be up to trialling and then racing. It's not ideal, but yeah, he was good, and the horses that did finish in behind him are quality animals, but I just don't think they're quite up to that upper echelon of a Small Tease or a Mr. Ray or our next horse, our Ultimate Byron.
Yeah, well, speaking of My Ultimate Byron, if you're a thrill seeker and prepared to take about $1.02 on the tote, you can take My Ultimate Byron on, and look, he just delivered like a good thing, didn't he, Amanda?
Yeah, he certainly did. He just went across the line untouched. It's a bit scary to think we haven't seen the bottom of this horse yet. So, it was, he's made it 6 from 6. And I thought the eye catcher in that race was Dougie Sloy. He ran second and was doing his best work over the line. And his last half was actually the fastest of the race. He went 55.3. So he's certainly one to keep an eye on. But, yeah, the winner is just too good.
David, if there was one horse you could get your hands on, I reckon My Ultimate Byron's probably on the list.
Yeah, for sure. I do a lot of track work with him. He's a lovely horse. He's very strong. He reminds me a bit of Expensive Ego. He's obviously got a bit more gate speed than him at the moment, but yeah, no, his bottom hasn't been found yet. So I think definitely he's the one to beat in the final.
Michael, we were so excited about what Menangle was going to offer up on Tuesday, and it certainly didn't disappoint, did it? That was an outstanding race card.
Never disappointed Paul at all. Small Tease was good, as we said, but My Ultimate Byron, he's just in another class at the moment. I have had a few thoughts on how this will all pan out. And if he does find the front, I just don't think Mr. Ray or a Small Tease can sit off him and beat him. They'd probably have to lead him to beat him. But things can go wrong going into semi-finals and finals, as we do know. But that's into the future. I echo the thoughts of Amanda also with Dougie Sloy. I thought his run was sensational to come from where he did. He looked like he probably would he had every right to paddle up the lane. He had to make a lot of ground up to get into even second, but he stuck to his guns well, and I think he could be a bit of a smoky if he does draw well in a semi-final or a final. Maybe not to win, but definitely to fill a top 3 position.
All right, David, I'm going to put it on you. Can anyone beat My Ultimate Byron in this series?
I don't think so. All being fit and healthy, and I don't think so. I think what he's got on him is I don't care if he draws 10, he'll still lead. He's just too quick. we've seen in the Gold, him and Mahomes, they come out 25-4. And, Mahomes is probably the only one that can go with him with gate speed. And he would hand up to him anyway in the final. So I just think he leads from any barrier. And I just don't think they can beat him, especially if they sat 2 fence maybe. But if they're 3 and 4 behind him, I don't think they can beat him. I've got no doubt my ultimate Byron will go 50 if he has to. So, and if he's in front and he goes 50, how do they beat him, really?
Well, look, we moved on to Bathurst last night, and Amanda Turnbull had plenty of great hopes in that. And the first of those was in the Colton Gelding, St. Veron. Michael Dumacy, that was a pretty easy watch if you'd back St. Veron. Yeah,
way too easy of a watch, Paul. He just done what he had to do, got to the lead. Watto's Blaze of Glory dropped in on his back, and then Amami made a run around the field. Amanda was never in any concern, in any panic. She just let him run down to the line. I like the run of Watto's Blaze of Glory to hang on there for second, and Amami was good after having to do some work mid-race, but they were never going to beat St. Veron with all things being equal.
Look, the Steve Turnbull, Amanda Turnbull double act was in play, and Amanda, look, that was a really solid night for their stable, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit of mixed results for Amanda, but nice to see Steve and Amanda combine to win 2 of those Breeders' Challenge heats. They also won with All Stars Frankie, so it's nice to see him bounce back after winning the Tatlow Stakes. But yeah, most of the Breeders' Challenge heats at Bathurst on Wednesday night were leaders. Three of the 4 heats were leaders, and that was All Stars Frankie. So he led quite comfortably, went 159 and 4, and was just too strong.
David, with St. Veron and All Stars Frankie, it certainly ran a script as far as the punters were concerned. How far can those 2 horses go in this series?
Yeah, no, I think they'll be more than competitive. As I said, it is a big step up to the Model Byron's and Ray Walker's horse and that, and obviously Small Teaser. It's just whether they can go 50. That's the big question. But Steve and Amanda know what they're doing. So if anyone's going to get them there, I know Steve loves having Amanda on them. So. They'll be more than competitive for sure.
When we move on to the fillies there at Bathurst, Mark Hewitt had a pretty good one there with Not to Be Denied. Michael Dumacy.
Yeah, I claim Mark Hewitt as an honorary local here at Parks. He's from Grenfell, just across the way, and does a lot of his preparing here at Parks or at Young, trialling his horses. So we'll claim him here at Parks. And she's a nice filly, Not to Be Denied. She led well, and she just done what she had to do. But the week before, she was electric. She's really shown some bottom. I think she'd have to probably draw 1 to 5 in a semi-final to be competitive, maybe slot in across into the running line and get that tag along. But Mark Hewitt knows what it takes to win a big race, and he showed that with Burning Stature way back when he won on the opening day of Tabcorp Park, Menangle. So he knows what it takes, Mark Hewitt, and great to see him with another nice horse. And, of course, Success Stud, Jackie Gibson and her family there with another nice horse also.
David, Not to Be Denied can only do what it can do, and it certainly, can't do any better at the moment. You must have been impressed by how that performance went.
Yeah, it went really good last night. It looked like it was absolutely jogging. So I actually watched the replay of its start before, and only just won, but it probably wasn't entitled to win, to be honest. It's hard to come 4 and 5 wide at Bathurst, and it actually didn't look like it was going to win, and it really knuckled down the last 50, which is a sign of a good horse. So, it looks like a horse that will still keep improving. Mark sort of seems to look after him, so it could be one to watch in the semi-finals.
Amanda, you talked about the mixed bag night for Amanda Turnbull. Well, we certainly saw that in the other fillies heat with Perfect As I Am. It just nothing went right, did it?
It wasn't perfect, that's for sure. It certainly had to be in its bonnet at the start, missing away. Amanda Turnbull chased hard to catch the field, and then, the horse just was having no part of it. But the winner out of that was Matty Rue and his horse, We Own a Misfortune, who was 3 pegs in that run, and it showed explosive speed to get to the lead from its position. So it's a pretty strong effort, an upset, starting odds at $10. So good luck congratulations to the punters that got that price.
Mike, will take nothing away from the winner, I guess.
She was our trial file horse about 3 weeks ago, Paul, in the week in review. So if you did follow in, you got the juicy odds last night. She ran second on the Friday beforehand at a good at a good price behind Perfect As I Am. And then come out in that heat. She got the beautiful run, as Amanda said. I actually was a little bit taken watching the race. I looked back to the inside and seen Michael Muscat's colours. It was just Maddie hadn't changed the colours from the race before. But, she's a nice little filly. She's an opportunist, I think. We own a misfortune. And, speaking to Matt, I think he thinks that she can push on and be a bit of a player with a soft enough run.
Well, Amanda, as we said, it's a huge week for the Breeders' Challenge, and the series moves on to Newcastle and Wagga with Friday racing.
Yes, that's correct. Really looking forward to the Newcastle heats on Friday. I'm really interested to see how Better a Girl goes for Adam Regari and Peter Hedges in the 2-year-old fillies heat. She's been really unlucky, this little filly. She was engaged in a heat at Tamworth a couple of weeks ago and was scratched before the race due to a COVID concern. She was engaged in a race at Newcastle last week and was a late scratching just at the start after rearing up when they were circling around. So hopefully Adam can have a bit of luck with this filly on Friday night. I know it will be great for the family. They've had a bit of a tough time this last week. And in the Colts and Geldings heat, Clayton Harmony has 2 great horses with Skyfall 17 and Saint Crusader. So I think that's going to be a really strong race. And Rockley Image with Mitchie Chappell, it's had a few gear changes. Its hobbles have been lengthened from 52 out to 55. So, that will be interesting to see how that plays a part in that heat too.
Michael Dumacy is the head of the class for regional racing. What have you picked out in these ones?
Well, I'm a bit disappointed that Chappie Street North went amiss. He had a bit of a virus, and Mitch has had to scratch him from the series, unfortunately. But heading into these races, there's one there that I think could be a bit of a smoky in the Colts and Geldings called Run from Terror. It was ultra impressive, winning last start, and it's been good up around the Tamworth area. I don't think it's quite up to the class of Clayton's horses, but if they do go hard early, it can be a horse that steams home. I think it's got untapped ability, but it could just be a bit of a smoky. But I'm with Amanda. I think Clayton will dominate the Colts and Geldings, and as it goes for the fillies, I'm really keen on Dance with Sue. I think she's a nice filly, and Clayton's got her also firing. Mark Callaghan takes the reins, and Better a Girl. She's a nice filly also. She'll be thereabouts, and I echo the thoughts with the Regari family. Very sad with the passing of Barry Madison, and hopefully a bit of divine intervention there, and she can run a good race for them.
Well, we talked about the 2-year-olds at Menangle on Tuesday. The series resumes for the 3-year-olds at Menangle on Tuesday. And, David, you are rolling out Antonia again for us.
Yeah, no, she'll be there. So I haven't seen the noms. I missed the noms this morning. But, she trialled yesterday and trialled with Expensive Ego and Lineup, and they went 50. She just ran her own trial, and I think she went about 52 flat herself. So pulled up really good. Jack was really happy with her. So, I think she's back on track. I just wasn't happy with her at Penrith. So we have a little bit of trouble with her tying up. So she seems really good. So hopefully it's all systems go.
Where do you think it went wrong at Penrith?
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with the blood for a few weeks before, and I thought she was right. But, a few people said, it's hard, you draw bad, the track and all that. But she was still disappointing. It's no good sort of undercoating it. She's just better than that, So, but I've been really happy with her since. I've changed a bit of feed, and she seems really good in herself. She's eating good, and she's not a great track worker, so it's hard to get a guide off that. But in herself, she's really good, and as I said, Jack sort of said that she felt like she was back yesterday at the trial. So, hopefully going forward, she'll be right.
She better suited at Menangle?
Yeah, she is. She is, but she's won at Penrith good before, so. I just think she just, she was just tying up a little bit. We got a blood done after the race the next day and showed she tied up. So I have had trouble with her in the past with that. So we're just got to be really diligent with it and keep on top of her.
Mandy, excited about seeing Antonia go around again. I know you got a soft spot for her.
Yeah, I sure do. And considering the issue she had in that Penrith heat, I thought she still found the line really well, considering the position she ended up in. So that was a big effort. But, very excited to see her step out on track next week.
Michael Dumacy, what about with the boys? We're going to see Rocket Boy go around again, Captain Crusader, some good fields.
It'll be a really good race, that 3-year-old Colts and Geldings. We just mentioned before we come on that Tasty Delight wasn't in the original noms, so not really sure what has happened there with Tasty Delight. There will still be time for him to get in, but in the boys, Rocket Boy, he looks a nice horse in the making. Jack Trainer will have him right up to the mark, and Captain Crusader, he'll be interested. It'll be interesting to see with him. He can really fly the lids, and if he did happen to get across Rocket Boy, it'll be game on, I think. And they're two very nice 3-year-olds heading into that race.
And what about Bathurst on Wednesday next week, Michael?
Yeah, heading to Bathurst for the 3-year-olds. Just having a look through those fields. Team Turnbull will be to the fore once again. I know Bernie Hewitt's got a few 3-year-olds there. So just looking to the horses that pretty much couldn't qualify there from Parks 2 or 3 weeks ago to head to Bathurst and hopefully secure their chances or secure their spot in a semi-final.
Amanda, how good's the Breeders' Challenge? It just keeps delivering, and we're in the process of a really busy schedule in this series at the moment, but it just keeps delivering, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does, especially those heats at Menangle on Tuesday. It just got me thinking, what are these grand finals going to be like at the end of this month? So some really talented horse flesh going around, some really well-bred horses. It's going to be some really exciting times ahead. I think we're going to see fireworks in those grand finals, just the way, these heats have already shaped up.
David, what about for you as a trainer, the Breeders' Challenge Series, what does it mean to the trainers out there? I mean, it's a very unique concept how it takes in the whole state and the qualification process, and it's really unearthing some amazing talent.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's our pinnacle for our local bred horses. You'll talk about Oakses and Derbies and Golds and all that, but it's in our own backyard every year, so everyone sets them for that. If you've got one eligible, so. I've had a bit of success with it. Vertigo won 2 and 3-year-old, and Choose a Lapples won as a 2-year-old. So it's a really good series. I've had a bit of luck in it, so hopefully it can continue.
Yeah, and how impressed are you with the current crop of talent this year? Where does it compare with previous years?
I think it's right up there. Being a bit later in the season now too, you're probably seeing a few more of them come through. But our 2 and 3-year-olds are really good. They're going to run some unbelievable times, I think, final day, weather permitting and everything like that.
Look, best wishes with, as the series progresses, particularly with Antonia on Tuesday. Really excited to see her go around again. Wagga and Newcastle next Friday as well. So we're coming into a really big week. Michael and Amanda, we'll be back next week to talk about it. And obviously we'll have another guest for you, someone who's connected with one of the winners. That's the beauty of the show. We never know who we're going to get because racing is out there for anyone to win.
Yeah, definitely, Paul. It's a really exciting weekend coming up, and we just missed those Wagga heats. They are on Friday. A couple there I'm looking forward to seeing. Armour Rolling Stone from the Brad Hewitt camp. I think he can run a massive race in one of the heats there. Ray Walker's got another 2-year-old that goes really well in Inverloch Dreaming, and Lulu May I think can take out the first. She's drawn one in the first race. She's coming off 2 seconds, and one of those seconds were behind Captain's Queen. So yeah, some really good heats to look forward to over the next couple of days, and wish you all the best, Thorny, and hopefully we see you there on final day.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Amanda, we'll see you next week as well. David, Michael, thanks for your time. To everyone out there tuning in, thanks for watching New South Wales Bred. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week with a wrap-up of the week that was, and we'll have a look at the week coming up. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.